Welcome back. Now, in the great scheme of things, it may not seem that important that the Prime Minister and his wife seem to be accepting thousands of pounds worth of free clothes from the wealthy Labour donor, Lord Alli. The Prime Minister said that he intends to carry on accepting gifts. He put in the caveat that all members of Parliament get gifts. Isn't that great? He goes on to say the important thing is that they are declared in accordance with the rules. Every time you hear a politician say, I'll do everything within the rules, it means that they know they did something dodgy. It's just the feel of all of this. It feels wrong. It feels kind of corrupt, to be honest with you. I'm still with Ben Habib. Ben, what are your thoughts about this? So the Prime Minister having accepted £18,000 worth of free suits from Wahid Ali, who, by the way, is an old friend of mine. He's a nice guy, but...
is he?
Yes, okay. He is, yes. I've known him for many years. But, you know, I'm not cutting him any slack with this. I don't mind him donating to a political party. Rich people have always done that. But,
Absolutely.
But £20,000 worth of free clothes and fashionable glasses to a man whose last recorded annual income was £404,000 just stinks to me. And today, you know, now we've found out that Victoria Starmer, Keir's wife, also received £5,000 worth of free clothes, and she toddled off to a London Fashion Week event yesterday with the dreadful June Sarpong, wearing sunglasses, sporting a £2,200 outfit by Edeline Lee, the designer, which was apparently lent to her. Now, Mr. and Mrs. Starmer, or Lady, Sir and Lady Starmer, you know, these are wealthy people. They're pulling in the best part of £500,000 a year. Keir Starmer just says, I'm going to carry on doing this. All MPs get free gifts. Has he got no political sense whatsoever? It's a very bad look, isn't it?
I think it is a very bad look. I think it's even worse than that. By the way, I don't think any amount of money is enough for people like Starmer. It doesn't matter that he makes $500,000 a year. If he can get an extra $20,000 a year tax-free in gifts from Wahid Ali, why wouldn't he take it? And that is the crux of the problem here. When a rich man gives money to a political party, that is entirely legitimate donation. It raises a few question marks in my mind, by the way, if we don't know the political disposition of that man. And there are a number of personal donations that have been made to political parties in the last few years, which I've got some issues with. But when a political a donation is made to an individual, that can only be because you're currying favour with that particular individual. It's not even as if this donation was to fight his constituency election or for some other electoral or political matter. It is a straight enrichment of the Starmer family at the expense of Wahid Ali. And if Wahid Ali wasn't gay, I would accuse him of having eyes for Mrs. Starmer, because the only way...
Very attractive woman, very attractive woman.
Well, she is very attractive. You know, why she's with Mr. Starmer is beyond me, perhaps.
Perhaps she's short-sighted, you know, hence the need for glasses.
But you know, when a man gives a woman clothes, it's, you know, it's a very personal thing, isn't it, Kevin?
Yeah.
And, you know, maybe someone who's gay can do it without raising eyebrows, but I wouldn't want my wife, my ex-wife now, but when we were married, to have got clothes from a strange man. This is just the enrichment of the Starmer family. And so that can't be right, because that enrichment is only taking place because he is a significant political figure.
Yeah.
And he is leveraging off his political position in order to enrich himself at Wahid Ali's expense. And that is just completely wrong.
Your colleague, your Reform UK colleague, Rupert Lowe, the MP, he said, he put it very well, I think. He said, the question is do you want your Prime Minister to be a bought man?
Yeah.
You know, arguably, accepting free clothes and God knows what else does make him something of a bought man. It certainly makes him beholden to Lord Alli in a way that I don't think he should be. As I say, I mean, there are questions about big donations to political parties, but political parties need money, and 'twas ever thus. So I have I have no real problem about political donations as long as they're done above and beyond, above board and all declared. But when it comes down to here's some pairs of glasses and here's £5,000 worth of dresses for your wife, this is getting into dodgy territory, isn't it?
It's very dodgy. And I mean, I don't like it when significant political figures receive money for travel from rich people. Why do rich people have to pay for other people's travel? It must be because they're doing their bidding. And why would you wish a significant political figure? Why would you allow a significant political figure to do an individual's bidding? It's wrong. Yeah. Even with a political party, by the way, with the Conservative Party, one thing that I think has gone very wrong with the Conservative Party, and it applies to the Labour Party, is the Conservative Party used to have millions, literally millions of members from which it got its donations. That meant it was obliged to its membership, which represented very broadly the conservative values of the United Kingdom, such as they were in post-war Britain. And now the Conservative Party only has a membership of 150,000 or so, and it takes big money from big business. And I think that has skewed the way they've governed. And the same applies to the Labour Party, who relied on the working class of this country for their cash, and now are also in bed with big business. And rich individuals, big business, I mean, they can, and perhaps it can be legitimate at one level, but I think it is a dumbing down of our democracy. We want our elected representatives to represent the interests of the people. If they're getting significant sums of money from third parties, you've got to query whether their heart's really in it for the British people. And I think one thing Reform UK's got to do is turn its back on rich people and really champion the membership that it's got, give them the voice that they should have in the party, and grow that membership so that Reform UK is obliged completely, not just morally as it is at the moment, but financially to the British people. And then it will deliver the agenda that it's meant to deliver.
Be a party of the people as opposed to a party of the rich people.
Absolutely.
And let's just talk about Starmer's hypocrisy here. How could we forget, not so long ago, the Labour, when in opposition, Starmer and the gang, absolutely doing their nuts, quite rightly in my view, to some extent, when Boris and Carrie were scrounging free, very expensive wallpaper and furnishings for number 10 Downing Street. They said this is corrupt, this is wrong. All of a sudden now they're in power. It's okay. It's okay to take free stuff. I mean, the hypocrisy's off the scale, isn't it?
It is, absolutely. And what about the optics of her getting thousands of pounds worth of free clothes while pensioners are going to have to, well, some pensioners are going to die this winter because of the actions taken by Starmer. His wife is absolutely rolling in it. He's rolling in it, and pensioners are suffering. It's really bad. If it's going to get worse, as Starmer says, before it gets better, if he's going to tax us to hell because the country's in financial difficulty, he should stand by the country and take the hits with the country, not envelop himself in the comfortable blanket provided by a multi-millionaire.
So, final question, I guess, Ben. How well do you think Keir Starmer is doing in his stated mission to be the enemy of Westminster corruption and cronyism?
They've all got their noses in the trough. Yeah. They've all got their noses in the trough. None of these people really care about the UK. And I think, as I said in the previous segment, he's anti-British. Yeah. He loves the Europhiles. He loves being in Davos. He said he prefers Davos to Westminster. This man shouldn't be the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom.
And as he said, again, a last point, he said, look, the important thing here is the rules were observed. Actually, I think in terms of his wife's dresses, he had to quickly declare them last Tuesday,
He didn't observe the rules.
having been told you haven't really observed the rules, but now he says he's declared them. But I had Rod Liddle on earlier, and he said he didn't necessarily think that Keir Starmer was fundamentally a bad man. He just thought that he was a man that didn't have any principles whatsoever. And I sort of agree with that, don't you?
I think a man without principles is a very, very bad man.
Yeah.
And he certainly shouldn't be anywhere near the prime ministerial office.
I agree with that. So Julie Birchall said something I quoted to Rod in a very good article about Starmer. She said that he's a bad man identifying as a good man.
Quite right. I'm more with her than with Rod Liddle.
Yeah. Well, I'm not sure he's doing a very good job as identifying as a good man. But we'll leave it there. Ben, it's always a pleasure to have you on. Come on again very soon. Ben Habib from Reform UK.